Hello, everyone, and welcome to RSP podcast. I'm here with Andrus Strauss. How you doing, man? Thank you for coming on.
I'm doing excellent, thanks.
Where are you coming to us from?
I am in South Africa, but the moment everybody always talk about South Africa, they either talk about Durban, Johannesburg, or Cape Town. Now, I am literally 1,000 kilometers plus from each of those cities. So I am in a place called Uppington. It's close to the Kalahari Desert. There where the BBC always goes to shoot the Bushmen. As a videography of the Bushmen, yeah, they stay around here.
Oh, okay, cool. So is it fairly rural then out there?
Yeah, it is quite rural. But luckily, there's a lot of infrastructure starting to happen here, so we got good internet, and that's
Yeah,
what life's about.
yeah, that's what I need. So that works out well. So I mean, the reason I brought you on today is to talk about, I mean, your travels in North Korea. But then as we got talking, I mean, you've also traveled a lot in Africa and I mean, quite extensively. So I mean, just give us a bit of background where you come from, how you started traveling around.
Okay, so mainly I do a couple of things, but one of the main things I do is I'm a travel agent and I'm also a film producer. We make television programs, etc., for a variety of shows. So I, when I started off my travel agency, I thought by myself, what service or what country does none of the other travel agencies have to offer? And we joked around and got onto North Korea, or that side. It's actually illegal to say North Korea. You have to say the DPRK. It's the Democratic of Korea, or just Korea. And then I started pondering the idea, and we made plans to go there. It was very difficult to get the visas, etc., especially from South Africa, because they literally went to check up on their books. We are the first people in at least 10 years, South Africans, that went there. And it's not like they have a vast tourism sector. In Cape Town, South Africa, last year, 15 million people visited. In a total, last year in North Korea, 5,000 people visited. So
Wow. Yeah.
they keep quite a good track on who's coming and going. And yeah, we went there for the tour, and I'm actually planning on going back again next year in March.
Oh, really? You really enjoyed it that much?
Yes, and I'm actually going to take a group over.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, I mean, to be honest, I would really like to go. It is one of my top destinations, so you keep me in mind for that. But
definitely.
but I mean, let's just tell us. I mean, to start us from the beginning. Like, I mean, who did you book through, and how did you get over the border? And tell us what you did day to day.
Okay, so basically, this is from South Africa's side. It's more or less from Europe's side as well. I've been actually there with some French people, a guy from Belgium, and actually somebody from London. That's also a Tottenham Hotspur supporter. Yeah,
Tottenham.
yeah. I'm like the only Tottenham supporter almost in South Africa. So
Really?
meeting another Tottenham supporter was something quite cool for me. But yeah, so um, you have to travel to Beijing in China, and then from there on you have basically two options. Option number one is going by train, which I selected because then you can see more. I don't know about the rest of the people. Some people choose comfort. I choose to see more places.
Mm.
Um, and that's actually the video you're going to see launching on YouTube now, is that train ride. So it's 30 hours by train from Beijing,
Sorry, how many?
30
How
hours.
30, 30.
Yeah. But you could get a nice place to sleep.
Yeah.
Um, just a little tip. I didn't know this. They do not serve food on the train.
Oof.
So take food with. Get food. Okay, but so you get onto the train. That in itself is quite an interesting experience because it's an international train station. There's trains leaving to Russia from Beijing and throughout China and into North Korea. So we finally found the train we had to climb on. we were separated from the rest as internationals already on that point, since there were other North Koreans on that train as well. They actually put a security guard with you on the train that come to fetch you in Beijing. And secondly, another interesting fact is about 100,000 North Koreans actually work in Beijing.
They're
Um,
actually
yeah,
spread across the world as well. Apparently, there's a really big population of them in Poland that they're like that they're builders or something that they get really
yeah,
low wages, and in Mongolia as well. I have heard this.
yeah. So basically, all the money goes back to North Korea, to the leaders, and they may not communicate with anybody. They may not have a social life out there, etc., like that. So then you come to Dandong. It's in China still, but it's just over the border from North Korea, which you get a final chance for about an hour or two to have Wi-Fi and signal and all that nice stuff we are used to every day. And we quickly ran to the KFC. Now, I'm not sure about the KFC there in London, but the KFC where we are from here in South Africa, they only sell chicken because it's Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
The option in Dandong was beef burgers as well as rice rolls. So that
Oh,
was quite interesting, like a soya rice roll. That's
ex-
also always one of my stuff I go and do when I'm abroad. I check out the McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC menus, how they differ.
I
Um,
actually do this as well, and a lot of people say to me, "You go all over the world to try McDonald's or KFC. Wouldn't you try something different?" I was like, "Trust me, I have been all over the world, and it is different everywhere you go."
it is different, and yeah, like in Beijing. Now I'm 194 centimeters. So in Asia, I'm pretty tall. Like everybody is like chest height for me.
How
And in
tall is
Beijing,
foot? Sorry, sorry to
in
interrupt.
foot, I think it's about 6'4", if
Six
I'm
foot
correct.
four. Yeah, so that's tall. Yeah, yeah, that's tall.
Yeah, and I'm weighing like in kilograms, 105 kilograms. What's that? Like 220 pounds.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm quite a big guy. And while in Beijing, I went to this native restaurant because I always also like to go off the beaten track,
yeah,
not like all the tourist
yeah.
destinations. And I literally couldn't fit into my seat. I had to duck because the roof was too low for me to go sit down. But we had a nice meal of duck heads. They prepared some duck heads for us. I didn't know what I was ordering. Everything was in Chinese. So I literally just pointed to a random thing on the menu and said, please bring me this. But yeah, so we got to Dandong. We got some food from the KFC. Um, Again, from Beijing to Dandong is about 20 hours, more or less.
Mm.
Okay. And but it's nice. You can sleep, except for me as a tall person. If you are tall, there's 3 bunk beds on top of one another. Take the one right at the top because my legs were like
Mm.
sticking
Yeah.
out quite extensively at the end. But okay. So everything was jolly and happy at this time. Every the mood was happy, everybody was happy. We are traveling,
Mm.
and then we got onto the train to go over the Friendship Bridge. Literally in 5 minutes' time, you're gonna enter the DPRK, and suddenly all of this stuff pops up in your head. What if? Because literally, if they find a Bible on you, you get martyred, literally. If
Mm.
they get something on your phone that shouldn't be there, um, you are in trouble.
Like
There's
what? Like what? Like on your phone? Like what?
If they find a GPS program on your phone,
Ooh, fucking
yeah.
hell.
So like Google Maps, all that stuff, secure folder, everything you hide away. Um, some of this will be featured in my videos because I had a 360 cam
Mm.
and they actually didn't know something like that existed. So they thought I was taking selfies while I was filming them actually. But yeah,
Oh,
so we got onto the train and then suddenly a cleaning process started. We had to sit 3 people next to one another on each side of the beds. So 3 people that side, 3 people this side, above us, our luggage. And they started cleaning out the dustbins. They were cleaning out cigarette butts. They were cleaning out any filth there was. our bags had to be packed neatly. Now, they do not stamp your passport as you enter North Korea. They stamp the visa and they take your passport for the duration you are in North Korea. So you can't escape. So they have your passport. Okay. So you sit with your visa and your passport ready and you start going over the Friendship Bridge. And suddenly everything goes quiet. Like you are in a separate like a wagon,
Yeah.
and the other North Koreans are in their wagons, and you just sit there. You don't know what to expect. No one can explain to you what to expect because it's from this moment on, literally, you have no signal. You have for the next 7 days. You can't call out. You can't receive anything. There's no Wi-Fi hotspots. You can't let your family know, hey, I'm safe. We had to leave documents by our family saying, listen, if you don't hear from us in 7 days, call this number and find out if you're fine.
Really?
Yeah. So that was quite stressful. But okay, we got there, and then the train immediately stopped as we entered North Korea. Now it's literally a fake town. The first town you encounter is a fake town. And we stopped and we got the orders. We must stay right there. And in our cabin, about 20 to 30 armed military guards got onto the train. And they started going through everything. They took my other camera, which I'm also filming with. And there's simple regulations like you may not have a 150 millimeter lens. It may only be shorter. Stuff like that. So they took my camera, went through it to look if I can take any GPS tags or anything like significant to bring out. I don't know. Maybe they think we're spies or any something like that.
Yeah.
We had to open up our luggage. They went through everything, made sure we don't have anything from the Western world brought with us. Remember, you can't wear jeans in North Korea. That's too Western for them.
Okay.
Yeah. You like wear chinos and stuff like that the whole time. Okay, you get briefed on this at least beforehand.
So what was in your bag? Sorry to interrupt you. What was in your bag? What did you actually take then? So after the checklist, what was in your bag? What was safe?
Okay, so it's my cameras. Then I knew I had to bring back footage.
Hmm.
I knew staying 7 days in North Korea, I'm gonna have a lot of photos and videos that I need to get out.
Hmm.
So I had about 30 USBs in my bag hidden, and they got it.
Then
And
you had USB sticks hidden in your
yeah,
bag.
yeah,
Okay.
and they
Not
actually got
not the actual cards. The
no,
just
no, no, like USB sticks. And then they started asking questions about USB sticks, and I told them I got them on special in China, in Beijing, and they said okay, they're gonna go check them, and they literally took my USBs and went through all of them to see if I'm not trying to smuggle in some kind of propaganda.
oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, my father, which also took the trip with me, actually had his Bible with him. Um, and luckily, they didn't come across the Bible. But that's a story for a whole another day because we actually met people in North Korea that were Christians that can't be Christians, and he gave them his Bible. But okay, that's a story for another day. That's quite an
Yeah.
interesting story as well.
Yeah,
But
that's
okay,
it sounds interesting, and I've heard about these Christian groups in North Korea as well, and apparently what I've heard is that they're set up. They're like saying, oh, someone asks, oh, you can't show religion in North Korea. They're like, no, that's a lie, and then they get this group of Christians together. I mean, I
yeah.
from what the news what the Western news tells me that's all fake, but you know,
No, yes, and exactly as you explained now, that is what happened.
yeah.
But this was a separate group. This was by chance. Um, the guards. Okay, but that's a story for another day. I'll
Okay.
explain
Yeah,
to you
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
but yes, actually, one of my videos they take us to one of the set up Christian churches to prove to us. But listen, here, Christianity is welcome here. Um, But yeah, okay. So, yeah, so they went through all our bags, checked everything out, and then when we got the clear, we could get out. Now in North Korea, there isn't a debit card, there isn't a credit card system. The money you take with you, that's the money you have. They choose the euros. They want euros. Now I don't know. You guys are working in pounds or
Yeah,
euros.
in Britain it's pounds.
Yeah, it's pounds. Now in South Africa, we're working with rands. Now we are quite weaker than the pound.
Yeah.
We're about 21 rands to the pound. Now in North Korea, to give you that example, for 1 rand, you get 620 North Korean won. You understand? So
Yeah.
ice cream is 2001. That's like 2-3 rand. So that is like literally 10 cents for you guys.
Yeah, what about 20 pence, isn't it? So let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
convert it. I'll convert it online. So what was it? Sorry, 2000 North Korean dong. One.
What you can, yeah, you can literally take 2 rand to a pound because I worked it out. It's like 2 rand for an ice cream.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and then from there on, we went to Pyongyang, the capital city. That was about another 6 hours that we were on the train to Pyongyang. Now, to be quite honest with you, a lot of people traveling with me believed the fakeness that they were trying to show around us. There was only certain routes we were allowed to drive. There was only certain restaurants we were allowed to visit. But the people were like, it's not this bad in North Korea. Everything looks fine in North Korea. These people look so happy and everything. But if you look just a little bit further, or you just observe a little bit more, you come to realization, but something is wrong. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in North Korea which I wish we can adopt. Stuff like, to give you an example, once a year, because they don't have planters and harvesters, etc., because of the laws against them that they can't import, there's sanctions. Uh, because of that, literally, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a lawyer or a, someone in high school. Everybody goes out to the farms for 2 weeks every year to help harvest the farmers. With that, they appreciate their food, etc., a lot more. They don't waste food because it's scarce, firstly, and secondly, because they actually know what hard work it is that goes into this. So that was quite an interesting thing that I observed. But the other thing I've observed, all these restaurants they take us to, there's never native North Korean in this restaurants. It's always us, and the moment we're out, they lock the doors. There's the attractions they take us to, like the water world. It was us, and then the moment we leave, the few other people that were there just disappear. That was another interesting thing for me, actually, that water world. But I'll get
That's
back
so
to you that
that's so
later. Yeah,
it's so creepy, isn't it? That sounds like you're just like living in like you're living in a painting or something like that.
yeah, and stuff like me and my father actually went out and did a challenge to see if we can spot one disabled person on the routes we're traveling.
Mm.
Now, I don't know about you, but where I am from, on the streets, etc., you will see the disabled people going
Yeah,
around.
same
Um,
here. Yeah.
we couldn't literally find one person throughout North Korea that was disabled. And we actually asked our operator and one of our guards, and we asked them, listen here, where are all the old people and the disabled people? And they basically tried smearing it off as, yeah, we put them in a situation where they can be useful, basically where they can do handwork or still something for the state, as you can say. which is quite sad. But overall, will I go back to North Korea? Yes, definitely. Um, will I take people there as a holiday? No, it's yeah, you see a lot of interesting things, but it's literally one of the photos I sent you, I think you'll see, I don't know if you can remember, in the year 1992 to 1994, there was this books that told us how the future will look with flying cars and this interesting looking buildings and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Now their buildings and skylines literally looks like that. It's beautiful buildings, but it's amazing to see. I
Yeah.
don't know. Have I sent it to you?
I've seen the pictures of it. I don't think you've sent me a picture of Pyongyang in itself. You sent me a picture of some North Korean girls dressed in some really bright dresses, and
Oh
you
yeah.
sent me of the monument, the monument which goes over the bridge, which goes over the road. Sorry,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
like that picture I've sent you there. That's the highway into Pyongyang. I was literally walking there on the highway without any fears of a car gonna hit me because no one in North Korea has a car.
No, no, no. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing in Pyongyang they do, but am I right in thinking that I mean, everybody needs permission to enter and leave the capital if you're a citizen?
Literally, if you want to move from any town to town, you need special permission. Everybody always, especially in this time, think now in South Africa, we may not travel from town to town currently because of the coronavirus. We
Yeah.
need special permission, and everybody is moaning about it and saying, "Yeah, it's such a slap, needing to get special permission, etc." In North Korea, this is daily life.
Yeah.
Um, they can't travel around like that. It's literally go to work and return back home. That's how they work in North Korea. Um, we went to some of the smaller towns as well. One of the photos I sent you, we were actually on the DMZ, the demilitarized
Yeah.
zone, but yeah, on North Korea side, um, and the people there, it's quite interesting the propaganda. Okay, you must understand. I've got like four storylines in my mind running now.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Um,
tell them all, man. Tell them all in your own time.
the propaganda, wherever you travel in North Korea, there's statues, there's speakers, literally speakers up with propaganda music, propaganda from the government. There's only two television stations for the people staying there. Um, with propaganda the whole time. All the opera is propaganda. We went to the War Museum. When we were at the War Museum, they showed us all the helicopters that they shot down from the Americans. They showed us a spy ship that is still captured there. We had a whole tour on this spy ship. They were flaunting everything around them, showing how mighty they are. They believe, I've heard a story this side, that North Korea believes that they won 50 gold medals at the Olympics the previous time they were there.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've had these kind of stories as well, and like that they constantly win the World Cup, but like apparently that the one I think it was in the South Africa World Cup actually that the one sh game they broadcast they lost 8-0 to Portugal or something like that. Is that
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yes,
but they
yes,
still
yes.
they still kind of yeah. I mean, that's what I hear but
And
they still believe that they win.
so I thought, okay, maybe this is just rumors.
Yeah.
And I actually asked them, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, we won." And they literally believe that they are the greatest nation on earth. Now, one of the coolest, best memorabilia I could have brought from North Korea is I was actually in North Korea while Kim Jong Un, the supreme leader, and you must also say it's the supreme leader, was shooting his missiles as tests just outside Pyongyang. And I brought back that newspaper of him standing next to the missiles out
Oh,
of North Korea. So I think like that's like the most special. I'm gonna put it up here in my office because Who's gonna be lucky enough to get that? Ever?
That is an awesome souvenir, and it's free as well. I mean, that is an awesome free souvenir.
Yeah.
What I ask, how did you get it back? Because you're not allowed to fold the newspapers, right?
Yes, you may not fold it, or you go to jail. It's
Yeah.
literally like that. So they have like a special. Our posters comes in.
Continue. So before you continue, for people who don't
Yeah.
know what we're actually talking about, if you fold a newspaper, if you fold a picture of the supreme leader in North Korea, or you crease it, or they have them in their homes. If you don't wipe it every day, you will go to jail. It is the law. You
Yeah.
can't
If
disrespect
if
them.
you're if you are lucky enough to have some North Korean won in your hand, because it's actually illegal for a foreigner to transact in won. If that falls on the ground and you just step on it because you're afraid it blows away, the supreme leaders on that, you go to jail because you step on that note. Yeah,
Jeez, crazy.
they they are so serious about that.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you shouldn't say anything at all against the supreme leader or against the family. Um, they literally think they are gods.
Yeah.
Literally, they told us a story while we were at a palace. Oh yeah, let me finish my first story. So
Yeah.
how we got it out?
Yeah.
So these containers you can put posters in, that
Yeah.
round containers.
Yeah.
So they actually had one of those, and I rolled it up and put it in because I wasn't folding it, and that's the way I could have brought it back at least.
And that's allowed. Like that's allowed.
Nobody stopped me, so I guess it is.
Yeah, you
It's
got
with me
balls.
now, so,
But
so I'm
yeah,
happy.
balls, man. After what happened to poor Otto Warmbier, like you got
Oh,
balls. You
I uh, in next week's video that I'm gonna post on YouTube, I actually am standing in exactly the same elevator as Paul, shooting the golden plate in the elevators with the fifth floor, stating that it's a TV studio and you shouldn't go there because
yeah.
they're busy with recordings.
Yeah, I see. Oh, that's crazy. Oh man,
Yeah,
it's so intense, isn't it? It must be so intense, that pressure of that they're always watching you.
they are literally always watching you because I entered my room and I saw all this stuff on YouTube. I heard about all this conspiracies because a lot of it, you sometimes wonder if they're not going overboard with it, if they're
No,
just not having.
true. This is
Yeah,
true. It's one of these common things in the media is that like if it was to happen anywhere, it would happen in North Korea. Like
yeah,
I actually think the story about him executing his uncle by like feeding him to wolves or something like that, that was one of the stories. I think that was actually made up by like a Chinese journalist or something, but then that got broadcast around the world.
yeah. And guess what's the sad part? It wasn't wolves. He actually blew him up with a cannon.
Yeah, I think that's
For
what I heard. He shot him with
yeah,
an
for
artillery gun.
sleeping in the parliament or something. But yeah,
No,
they
no.
got some.
Oh no, this was the guy who fell asleep. The guy
Yeah.
fell asleep at his post. He was a soldier, and he got shot with
Ah,
an artillery gun. The uncle was
yeah,
accused of crimes against the North Korean state and threatening to overthrow the government. That's what he was arrested for and executed. He
yeah,
got life for that. Yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
crazy.
And it's interesting because yeah, yeah, come travel with me to North Korea because we can literally talk for the next 10 hours and you won't experience what we have experienced. Remember, while traveling there, you may not speak to the locals, except a lot of locals actually wanted a picture with me. Not only do I look like a giant for them,
Yeah.
but no one has beards. And I've got like extremely long
Yeah,
beard.
yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody wanted to touch the beard and have like photos with the beard. Yes, they have excellent phones. I guess they imported from China or something. But it's just locked. They can only communicate with one another in North Korea.
I
So
think it's their own brand. I think it's actually their own brand of smartphone now. I'm not
it
100%
could
sure.
be. It could
Yeah,
be.
I actually think it is. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
So
continue.
Yeah, so there's like literally camera, phone, everything. They also take selfies, and so everybody wanted to take photos with me. And in our group, there were three guards with us the
Mm.
whole time until you go into the hotel. There is literally guards with you the whole time, wherever you go. You can't step away from them. You have to ask permission for everything, including if you want to take photos. You literally need to point them and ask, "Can I take a photo of that, please?" And
Mm.
then they say yes or they say no. As easy as that. As literally, if you walk 5 meters away from them to buy yourself ice cream without their permission, you're either banned out of the country or you get arrested for disobeying them. As easy as that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hence.
uh, yeah, it is quite intense. And what's quite interesting about these guards as well is if we enter a restaurant to eat. Remember, if you go to North Korea, everything is included. Your food, three
Mm.
times a day is included. Everything is included because obviously you can't just buy or order from a menu. It's always buffet eats
Yeah.
wherever you go. Um, they never eat with us. They like disappear for that time we're in the restaurant and reappear if you have to exit the restaurant. It's like they may not join you, they may not socialize with you. And people also think North Koreans are dumb or stupid. They are not.
Mm.
These three guards that were with us, um, all three of them fluent in North Korean or Korean, fluent in English. One were fluent in Belgian, the other one in French, and the other one in Italian. So that because there's a lot of Europeans there, so they can actually literally talk to you in your European language, which you arrive there. Secondly, the orchestra, I went to look, I was there on their national celebration or something like that. Um, and the orchestra I saw was literally one of the best I ever saw in the world. I asked the our group leader, but how are they so good? And they literally say, when you are 4 or 5 years old and you show promise in music, they teach you how to speak, read and write, and the rest of your life you literally do music. You specialize in music, and the whole orchestra is people playing together for 40, 50 years already. So they are excellently in tune with one another. um so that was quite interesting for me as well. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say about the guards and
Mm.
the observation the whole time, when you enter the hotel, they say good night to you. They've got their separate rooms, and there's like a bowling alley you can go to, a karaoke bar, some place you can have something to drink, and you can go up to your room. So there's like a little entertainment area, and then you can go to your room for the night.
But
And
that's
I
just
went,
to contain you, right? That's just to contain you. So you've got everything
yes,
you need there. And is it, am I right in thinking the hotel in Pyongyang is on its own island, kind of, as well?
it's on its own island. It's on its own island, and you can't exit the hotel. There's no
Mm.
way of exiting unless your guards are with you. So as I entered my room, again, very beautiful rooms. They want to impress you as a tourist to let you think that you had a misperception of the town, about the country, etc. They want you to believe they have power 24/7. Now in South Africa we have power outages called beerdkrag. In Afrikaans we call that. That's my native tongue. So it's partly power. So we get like tomorrow we'll have between 12 and 2 no power to reserve power for the rest of the people. I know you guys in England and all the nice countries out there don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I spent a lot of time in India when I was growing up. So I know the power outages and you have to go get the generator and they never start up. But I remember when I was
Yeah,
young.
yeah. So, and especially now, okay, for you guys, that's not cold, but today it's about 16 or 17 degrees Celsius outside.
Mm.
So I'm actually getting cold because our summer temperatures is 50 degrees Celsius where I'm from. So I'm literally getting cold here, but at least we don't have any power outages currently. But where in North Korea, where we traveled, the hotels we stayed in, everything had power the whole time. But the locals staying there, you can see everybody having like a little solar panel for basic stuff like charging a phone or a light in the house. Because on average, they might have power 3 hours per week. Not per day, per week. So it's very, yeah, again, just observe. They tell us how awesome it is, everything, but looking out 12 o'clock at night out of your hotel room and you just see pitch blackness where the city was, should tell you something, especially if it's a capital city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I entered my room and there was this radio there and a TV. And I checked behind the radio and I saw like 8 or 9 cables going out. And I followed one of the cables and it went into the ceiling above us. And there was a smoke alarm up on top. You know these stuff you can buy on Wish, on this or Amazon. That smoke,
the little spy
that's
cameras and stuff.
that little. It's exactly that little spy camera that's installed in your room, as a smoke alarm. So yeah, so you're being observed everywhere you go. So
Fuck you, yeah.
yeah, so but you just have to go with it. We knew going to North Korea it's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be upset with it. Just smile and wave. Just smile and wave. Just go with it. And yeah, so one of the funny things that actually happened, I'm a joker. Whenever I travel, I like to do a prank or joke or something like that. But I don't do prank videos on YouTube. So yeah, I only do travel videos. So I told you about the Bible earlier.
Yeah.
And at this point of time, my dad started thinking that they might have idea that he has a Bible with him. Okay. He's sleeping in a room next to me. And what should a son do to his father when he has information like that? So at 12 o'clock at night, I went over to his room, started banging on the door, like as loud as I can, and I hear from inside, he can't speak English properly. Actually, I know I've got a bit of an accent, but this is, believe it or not, some of the best English around where I am from. He can't speak English properly, so he's like, who's there? And I just keep on banging louder and louder and louder, and I hear like a little shiver at the door, and as he opened the door, I'm like, hey Dad, I just want to know if you're still sleeping. He didn't speak to me for like an hour at least.
I would be, oh man, that's a hard. I think my dad would probably turn around and punch me, you know, if I did that.
He wanted to, believe me, he wanted to. So yeah, and actually my father, if he wanted to, he can, because he was in the war in that time. So that was quite funny for me. So if you travel to places like North Korea, if I can say this to the listeners, you should enjoy it, have fun. If you know you're coming to South Africa, for example, South Africa is a very beautiful country. It's a lovely country, and I believe we'll speak to about it someday, because I've literally traveled every single city in my country. There is places like, if you go on YouTube, you'll hear about muggings, and you'll hear about, actually, I've been mugged in Cape Town, but it's because I went jogging at 10 o'clock at night against the main road in the most dangerous area. So it wasn't wise from me. But if you stick to the tourist places, if you stick to the main roads, if you listen to somebody that gives you advice, I promise you, you will be all right. It's just go out there and have fun while traveling. Don't be sad about stupid stuff. Like when we were in North Korea, we went to that water park I spoke about earlier. I was quite excited because I like water parks. And arriving there, I couldn't go on the slides because it's only 90 kilograms limited
I
maximum.
see.
And I'm like 15 kilograms over that. And I wouldn't even fit in that tube because I'm too big. But if I went to the water park and it was available for me, I wouldn't have this chance that actually happened to me then because everybody was like having fun and everything.
Yeah.
And I sat with the three guards and we had an open chat. And they let their guard down and started talking to me and asking me questions. Remember, they don't have Google. So if I talk about a rhinoceros or a buffalo in South Africa or springbok, they have no idea what we're talking about. And then they started thirsting for information like, how is it out there? What is it like? What technology does exist? Etc. like that. And we had a very nice chat. And from there on out, they were basically my friends. They
Yeah.
let me slip with the ice cream thing. I went up to them and said, like, let's see, can I go buy myself ice cream? And they were like, yeah, you may not actually, but quickly go. You
Yeah.
understand? So just have fun with it. And with that instance as well, take some of your own currency always with you.
Mm.
Because in South Africa, okay, we have Nelson Mandela on the one side of all our notes, etc. And on the other side, on the 1 rand, we have a springbok. On the 2 rand, a kudu. On the 5 rand, we have like a buffalo. On the 10 rand note, we have a rhinoceros. 20 rand note, an elephant, and etc. etc. It goes up. And I actually had two of each note. And I could sit there with them chatting, actually taking out my currency, showing them how a cheetah looks like, how a buffalo looks like. And I actually left that cash with them as a reminder for them to think, listen here, but there is a life out there. And the one girl, I'm not going to say her name.
Mm.
I'm going to meet up with her again there.
Mm.
She's actually one of the tour leaders. She actually said she wishes that someday she might visit another country.
Mm.
That's one of her deepest wishes she has. And then at that moment, again, I realized how privileged we are to be able to travel, to be able to move around. Uh, Stuff like South Africans saying, yeah, but we need to get a special visa to go to England.
Mm.
It takes 3 hours. These people can't even leave their country, for
They
goodness
can't
sakes.
leave their town or their city
Yeah,
most of the time as well.
yes. So we have so much we can be happy for. For example, you chose what you wanted to become one day.
Mm.
I chose that I wanted to be a filmmaker. In North Korea, you literally have to write 3 things on a page. They see if one of those trades are close to you, what you want to become. And if you are lucky enough, they send you to university, etc., with one of those. But I literally saw someone at the zoo whose main job it is, the state gave him that job, to look after a miniature horse for the rest of his life. He has to feed it, pet it, and clean up its dung. That's what he does. The whole day, the whole year, month in, month out. That's what he does. So we have so much we can be privileged for.
Yeah, it's so true. Like the state, I mean, yeah, well, from what I've read is that the state chooses your job out there.
Yeah,
It's also kind of crazy as well. It's like it's so if maybe not hierarchical is not the word. It's like ancestry wise is that, like, your family, if your family has done something wrong, then you've done something wrong. You're guilty by association almost. If your brother fucks up, then you
yeah,
fucked up. And there's I think there was a story that I think it was the North Korean Kim Jong-un's uncle when he was arrested and executed. The story is that they rounded up family members
yeah.
to the ninth generation, and there was a family that was arrested that didn't even know they were related to him, and they were arrested and put in prison.
Now there's a lot of tough laws in North Korea. While I was there, like if you raped someone, they don't even know about rapes because
Mm.
literally you get killed in front of everybody. They like literally hang you or shoot you in front of everybody in town. And if you are older than 12 years old, you must be there to see the execution.
Yeah.
Point. So stuff there's there's goodness in that because there's no rape in that country.
Mm.
But the rapist, the whole family, either get sent to jail or they get killed. There was actually a Christian I know about that he was caught having an underground church, and his whole family and his father, mother, and his children were also, all of them were executed. So yes, that is true. Unfortunately, yeah, it's it's tough out there.
It's
I
another
must
world.
really
It's
tell you,
another world, isn't it?
you it's first of all, the moment you get there, you you think about all this poor pictures you saw. It's like Africa. Everybody like always see the poor little kid sitting there with the flies around his face, begging for food. That's like the main picture of Africa. But if you come here, or the lions walking around in the
Mhm.
streets, that's not like that. Uh, believe it or not, although uh, we actually have crocodiles on the farm, so come visit us.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
awesome, man. South Africa's another huge one on my list, so I'm sure I'll be there sometime.
yeah. Please come visit, come visit. But um, s- and when you get to Cape Town or Johannesburg or places like that, Durban, you see all this mega infrastructure. You see it's big cities, big towns, big universities. Actually, South Africa is one of the countries currently in the front runners with the coronavirus, like the tests, etc., like that. You understand?
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, but it's not only like a shack with this little kid sitting outside.
Mm.
That's the same with North Korea if you arrive there. Um, you see this huge buildings, everything. Uh, it's not like this all bad, all negative,
Mm.
which you only saw in the news. So that's also one of the things I try to point out in my videos I do on YouTube, is to show, but listen here, there's positivity in every single country you visit.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you can find something positively.
And I mean, and the thing about North Korea as well is, I mean, what it's quite amazing. Like, the stuff that they do is it's self-made, isn't it? It's all self-made. I mean, what's their ideology, Juche, right? Self-reliance. It is all self-made. They have done it off their own, blood, sweat, and tears, which is pretty impressive given all the international sanctions which has
Yes.
the country. But I mean, there's obviously, I mean, if you look at the ruling classes, if you want to put it like that way. I'm sure they wouldn't want me to in North Korea, that that money could be used. There's still more money that could be used. I mean, look at how much money goes into their military.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, yes, excellent infrastructure they're building. Excellent. They are expanding. They are growing bigger. Great for them. They shouldn't lie to you though, because while you're there, they'll show you a 70 apartment building and tell you they build it in 70 days from start to finish.
Mm.
Okay, but at least they built that mega
Yeah.
structures. It's very good. So after all of the propaganda and everything like that, um, they are busy growing. You must see, for example, and that's what they should use their money more wisely
Yeah.
because they literally built a palace, a beautiful, beautiful palace. It's on my Instagram, um, just to house the gifts the country sent to them. That's
is,
it.
is this where the leaders are also laying in state as well?
No, 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 no.
Mm.
This is only there is wax figurines of them, and
Mm.
again, if you walk past the wax figurine, you should go bow before them. Now, I am a religious person, so I didn't do that. I dodged it
Mm.
because, according to my religion, I may not bow before anybody else. But they bow before the wax figurines there, and literally that whole palace, the only thing that is in there is the gifts from the other countries. Yeah, it's cool gifts like Russia giving them bear skins and like old plane that the previous supreme leaders flew in, stuff like that. So it's a lot of cool gifts to see, but it's a big waste of money, especially if you think maximum 5,000 people per year visit that place.
Yeah.
Then you start to think, was it worthwhile? Was it worthwhile to invest in that? They also believe on that same mountain, Kim Jong Un's grandfather, the regional supreme leader, was
Kim,
born.
Kim,
Yeah, was
yeah.
they believe he was born out of a unicorn, basically, and that the moment he was born, the weather was minus 26 degrees Celsius, and the moment he got born, the temperature went up to like 0 degrees Celsius, just because he entered the world.
Old.
Uh,
Yeah. I've heard a lot of these stories about the leaders as well. Like it's really, yeah, it's really strange, isn't it?
yes, it is. And they actually tell you these stories, which is quite interesting, actually. So, yeah, basically, when you visit North Korea, you you say nothing wrong about the supreme leader. You must say supreme leader. And if yeah, you just be ready for that.
Yeah.
You should. It's not like I know in England it is like in South Africa. If you have a problem with your prime minister or a president, like on our side, you can voice it on Facebook. You can put it on Facebook and say, "Hey, Cyril Ramaphosa, I didn't like what you've done this week."
Yeah.
That side, you don't even ask, "Are you guys starving?" Or
Uh,
you just don't do that.
it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's like I say, it's another world. Did you visit? I think it's called the Temple of the Sun, where the North Korean leaders' bodies are lying in state.
Yes, yes, we were there because it was a national day. Uh, Everybody had to put on like a whole suit and tie and everything to go there. You can't go underdressed. You need
Yeah.
to take a suit and tie with you. But again, I didn't want to go bow down before them. Uh, uh, to be honest, I don't see the need of bowing before somebody that's not even alive anymore.
Mm.
You understand what I mean?
I
It's
do, but to them, to them, they're kind of
yeah,
they are still alive, right? They live
yes,
eternally.
yes, yes. So we stayed behind for them to go, and we respected them that way. We actually spoke to our people there and said, "Listen here, this is our religion, etc."
Yeah.
And they said, "Okay, to show respect to us, rather stay in the bus than arriving there and not bowing, because there's literally
Yeah.
military personnel also standing there. If you don't bow low enough for them and don't stay down long enough for them, uh, they've got a problem." A lot of people told me, "Hey, just like you just had to pretend like you're tying your shoe or something. Go look at the pictures online of the people actually going to the statue and bowing. If you take
Oh,
to
oh, sorry.
make sure,
Your internet cut out there a little bit. Sorry
uh,
if you could repeat.
no, I'll quickly repeat. If you take a photograph of these statues, they literally check your photo to make sure you've got the whole thing into it, because you can't do just like a close up of the heads or something. That's how sure you have to be. Yeah, that's how. What's the English for that? Um,
It has to be in
that's
full
how.
frame, right? So it has
Yeah,
to be
it
full frame,
needs to
full
be
body. Yeah.
full frame with a lot of respect. You can't even tilt it a little bit.
Mm.
You can't take a selfie with it. It doesn't work like that. They've got a lot of respect for their leaders. And usually in like modern world, we'll think like there's people that if leaders are like that, there'll be rebellion or something like that.
Mm.
I went through their TV channels. I couldn't see anything. I don't know if they like hiding it or something like that. But the people going about the daily lives, they weren't like people burning tires or standing up against the state. I also believe they are too scared to do it because they're gonna pay the ultimate price for it. But traveling through North Korea, I don't think there is one other country that's gonna match the adventure of just sitting in a bus and okay, to give you an idea, we sat in this bus. Their roads are poor. It's like, wow. It's like there's some main slabs, but you like the whole time bouncing, bouncing, bouncing wherever you go. And as we were traveling, there's checkpoints everywhere, which the bus stops and they come check our papers and we let through. And one of the military personnel actually waved the bus through while we were still driving, and he by accident grabbed onto a cable of them, which is their radio connection, and pulled over like a piece of the equipment with the bus. And this fear on the driver's face will never be able, you won't be able to explain it. The people in the military tent didn't see what just happened, and they're like, why are you stopping? Go, 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 go. And the guy went. The first place where we stopped to buy some drinks or something, again, it's only us there. It's like this little tea houses they have, but it's literally only us there. He got out, and there was like a little black mark on the bus. Now the bus is also the government's, and he polished it out to clean it out, and he had so much fear of what might happen to him because he like literally did that.
So sorry. The story is that he drove the bus through a checkpoint. Yes. He scratched the bus, and he was just scared that he'd damaged government or military property.
Yes.
Oh God, poor guy, man.
Yeah, and the rest of the bus is going like, what is happening here? Now, I'm from South Africa. We are used to this kind of stuff. You understand? So we're like sitting there smiling and documenting everything. But where in your world, in this whole wide world, are you going to do a bus ride and have so much adventure and fear while driving 40 kilometers an hour? And people were like stressing out. So people need to visit North Korea. There's interesting places like Nampu we went to visit. It's propaganda everywhere you go. They're trying to show you they're mighty, they're powerful, and you just like traveling around there. The DMZ, demilitarized zone, you can go Google up on it. It's like 1 million soldiers on the one side and 500,000 soldiers on the other side, etc. It's still an active war zone. There was actually shots the other day.
World, right? Most heavily fortified border in the world, the most armed border in the world. But actually, I mean, I think it's something really interesting. Apparently, it's actually grown like as a haven for really rare species of wildlife.
Yes,
because no one goes there.
Yeah, you can't travel there, obviously, because there's like 1 million or 2 million mines still around there as well. Yeah. But on the North Korean side, they went to show us where the original agreements were signed between the leaders of America and North Korea. Again, they showed us a propaganda video there showing on a Sunday morning all the North Korean children, how they were playing and jumping around, and then they cut to America's side on that same Sunday morning, preparing their tanks and their planes. And then they cut back to North Korea's side. The families having a nice meal together. And then suddenly the bomb drops on this family and the crying of the children. You get a lot of that kind of propaganda there. Wow. They tell you the whole time it's the Western, it's America's fault, it's Japan's fault, and it's South Korea's fault. So, yeah, as a Caucasian male walking around there, it's quite interesting, some of the propaganda, because the moment you come out, everybody's like, are you the American they're talking about the inside? And then I'm like, nah, I'm from South Africa. So there's a lot of propaganda like that going around, but there's also a lot of interesting things happening. People seeing you as a foreigner smiling. The fact, as I spoke to you earlier about talking to the guards, showing them how a rhinoceros looks like, and they can't believe it's like this 2,000 kilogram animal with this huge horn. You understand?
Yeah, it must be
It's
like, I mean, even just trying, luckily you had a picture of it. I mean, trying to describe, I mean, because they are weird looking animals, aren't they? If you know, if you believe a God designed an animal, like why would he make it look like that? It's so
yeah. So like, a tank. Think
yeah.
about the animal version of that tank.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
a
way of putting it.
rhinoceros.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So, and that's actually a piece of advice I would like to give people out there. Whenever you travel to whatever country, especially North Korea, take a lot of photos from your own country with.
Mm.
Because we sat there and I showed them some of the destinations I've visited. You can't, while in North Korea, quickly go on Facebook or Instagram to go show them the pictures. It actually has to be offline on your phone.
Mm.
So always have a couple of photos ready because you never know whether it's in North Korea or in India or in England or wherever, where you'll make your next lifelong friend.
Exactly. No, I think that's a great piece of advice. I think this is really good. And I mean, well, so we've been going for nearly an hour now. So I think I've still got a couple more questions to ask you on North Korea. So how do you feel about doing another episode and then we talk about your adventures in Africa? Because I'm sure we can talk on an ages.
100%.
Yeah,
I'll I'll
we'll do
I'll
a
speak
part
the
two.
whole
So
day.
look forward to a part two. But the big question I want to ask you, and it's just my personal thing as well, because I also do, so I'm getting into filmmaking myself as well. How was the permissions and how was the like how easy was it filming and taking pictures in North Korea?
Okay, first of all, your camera shouldn't look like a video camera. Luckily,
DSLR, DSLR.
yes, DSLR, mirrorless cameras, great way to go. Secondly, do not put on a GPS location tag. Do
Okay.
not take a GPS with you. Do not take something that looks like a GPS with you. Okay. Then, um, obviously you can't go with tripods and with sound gear, a lot of sound gear and stuff. So we had little like lapel mics.
Yeah,
lapel mics,
yeah. What about
which
shotgun mic for your DSLR? Would that work?
some places yes,
Mm,
some places no, because
okay.
a lot of times I was filming in secret with a
Mm,
lapel mic hidden under my clothes, doing like a normal
uh,
speaking a little bit, everything, and then the people like responded and everything.
mm,
So I think if you're gonna have like a shotgun mic, etc., they're gonna be a bit more skeptic
okay.
about what you're saying with them. Okay. Um, North Korea is the only country as a filmmaker which I'll permit you having a bit worse sound for the sake of getting your footage.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that's the other places you don't have a choice. You need good quality sound. In North Korea, you can get away with it. Secondly, any lens bigger than 150 millimeters is not permitted in North Korea. So you get a lot of crop censored
Mm,
DSLRs these days. So your 135 millimeter lens becomes 150 millimeter. They do not know that.
yeah.
So that helped me to get a bit further away shots as well, which I've needed. 360 cams, they do not know what a 360 cam is. They think you're taking selfies, and you can just literally tell them you're taking selfies. So I took a lot of footage of that, and it's nice and small. It's compact.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
literally travel with it anywhere. While they're talking, while they're speaking, they don't have a problem if you have your DSLR out, filming or taking pictures. Uh, there is certain rules. You may not take pictures of construction buildings, buildings that's not completed, dirt in the road, military personnel. Inside, like that palace, inside the palace, you actually had to leave all your electronics behind. You can't uh, take it with you.
Mm,
So there's a lot of places you can't film, but it's a lot more open to film than you will actually think, because a lot of people think you only have to be secretive the whole time. No, I was sitting with my DSLR shooting the our main person standing in front, talking about the buildings and where we were, climbing off at the military museum, filming, and then at some point she'll be like, sorry, sir, you can't film inside here. Then you just have to respect them and like, okay, no worries, sorry. If you are friendly with them, they'll be friendly with you. It's that's how human race works.
Mm.
If you are friendly, they'll be friendly. If you have a stuffy, if you like, yeah, I want to film me. I paid a lot for this tour. You're just gonna go sit in the bus
Yeah.
at best option. If they not like ban you out of North Korea or detain you. So just follow the rules. It's as easy as that. Yes, as I said, tripod can't go with. I tried with the drone. I'm gonna try again with my drone this
Mm.
time, going in March. Uh, I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna make sure my insurance are excellent on it.
Yeah.
So I am trying to get permission, but remember, yes, they do have technology. They do have technology, but something like a drone, they will literally think you are spying
Yeah.
and you drop bombs on them or something like that. So you you have to be wise handling certain stuff. But overall, filming in North Korea, it's fine.
Okay.
You must come with. You must come with your
Yeah, man,
camera. I
man.
with my camera, and we do something a deal.
Yeah, no, man, that sounds good. And we'll organize. When are you looking for? March.
Yeah, March, April next
March,
year.
April actually might work pretty damn well for me, you know. So,
And
yeah, we'll
especially
keep a bit.
for you guys flying from Great Britain, it's
Mm.
actually a lot cheaper than for us from South Africa. Not
Yeah.
only the flights, but also because of the pounds versus the rands, it works out a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I've kept my eye on it for a few years as well. It's like I look at and roughly it's about £1,500. But I'm just
Yeah.
finishing up my university now, so then I'm going out to make some money, and then when I've made the money to afford it, because it's been on my list for such a long time.
Now remember, if we talk about £1,500, that
Mm.
includes your bus fare everywhere
Yeah,
you go. That includes all your tours. That includes 3 meals a day. That includes everything,
yeah,
literally, where you go. You literally only have to take a little bit of money with for they've got like for £20 you can go check out the orchestra, or
mm.
for £5 you can buy yourself a souvenir or something like that. But that covers everything in North Korea. So yeah, that's because a lot of people hear £1,500 and think, wow, that's a lot.
Mm.
But you don't have to pay Uber or a plate of food or a hotel. And if I talk about the hotel, it's at least 4 star. For South Africans, it's 5 star. So it's excellent, beautiful, and they treat you with respect. So yeah.
I really look. Yeah, no, man. I'll keep you in contact with that, and I really, yeah, that it sounds really good. And so we'll end it there. We'll look out for part two, which we'll talk about Africa, your travels in Africa, and we'll organize
Definitely.
after this. But thank you for coming on. Where can we find your Instagram, YouTube? Where can we find you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I've got 2 pages. If you go on Strauss Andrus, it's STRAUSS underscore Andrus, ANDRUS. Um, you can find my main page of all my travels and everything I do. And then you can check out my other page. It's Andrus Strauss underscore photography, which I do a lot of photography work wherever I go, and I post all my pretty little pictures. I posted there, and then on YouTube, you can search A Travels, like A Travels without any spaces, with a capital letter A, and you can go follow. We're actually busy posting the whole North Korea videos now, and after the North Korea videos, we post a whole series which we drove 3,000 kilometers to Malawi in this like the heart of Africa. So it's quite interesting stuff that happened there as well. So, but we'll speak to one another a bit later on Africa.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, check them out. They're good videos. I really enjoyed this conversation, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It was really informative.
Thank you.
So if you guys want to see the photos we talk about, look on the Instagram RSP_podcast. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.